Hello and welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. It's been a rough few days for football fans, for all of us. We're just trying to absorb things. Things are still changing. As we all know, the Europa Super League has been announced. We're 12 teams. I think 12 to 15 teams have signed this thing where they're going to play in a European league by themselves. It's causing a lot of problems. I have with me my co-host, Abrar Aziz. How are you doing, man? How did you take the news? And now there's some change as well. Hearing that teams will pull out as well, but the impact that it's already caused, it's a big thing in
Yeah,
football.
absolutely. They're doing well, but I think this is a big. Well, I guess it was something that I believe was in the works for a long time, so it took a while to come out. But I think I think that wasn't the right thing to do. I don't think it wasn't the right way to do it. There's ways to do things, and I think that this was a very bad way of putting it out. And yeah, it kills the competition and stuff like that. And the founding teams will never be relegated. The founding teams will always have a spot. These kind of issues, it's not gone down well with the fans, and rightly so. There should be competition, and there should be the love for the game, with the effort you see, like the likes of. With due respect, Arsenal, who have been poor, they don't deserve a Champions League spot at this point in time. But to be able to be in a Europa Super League where they have no challenge is not worth it. I don't think that I'd like that for them. I understand the financial aspect of it, even though I might get some slack for it. But I do understand the financial aspect of it. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me in the whole way. I think that there's a lot of there is a is there a possibility to do this down the road in a better way? I think so. I think that they might even eventually end up doing something, but there has to be a better way. They just can't announce something like this and make it so easy for 12 to 15 teams to be so comfortable and get a nice 350 mil pay package every year, irrespective of wherever they even irrespective if they lose all the games in that league, right? That's not the way you want to see football. That's more the American style. I don't know if Europe wants to go that way, England wants to go that way, So I guess the competitive side of things I don't get, but the financial side of things I do get. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is also, if you look at the financial side of things, of course, like everyone has the right to make money, but the amount of loss that other teams will incur in every single league is that's the thing which is causing the problem and this ruckus. It's you're making money at in someone else's expense, I guess, and that's the issue, and that's why they're saying it's unethical. They shouldn't go on. But also, how much do you think? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but how much do you think that these big teams, United, Liverpool, they have a history in the Premier League? Is it just to do with the money, or is it to do with the owners? What is it like? Can you do you think it has to be owners? No, because these teams have such a rich history.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the likes of Klopp and Pep Guardiola come out and kind of condemn it. Klopp was very strong with his words. He said he doesn't like it. He doesn't want it to be there. And so obviously, I don't think the teams and the players and the coaches were involved in this decision. I'm pretty sure it was just the executive teams up there and the owners and all of them. And obviously, I can see why the owners are behind this. And the likes of the Glazers, or the likes of Henry, or the likes of Kroenke. These guys are all there for the money. Perez, for that matter, and Real Madrid. These guys all want to make money, and obviously the past year and a half, we've seen COVID impact the stadium money and everything. So there's a lot of losses that these guys have incurred, and this is probably a way for them to make it all back quickly. But I don't think that that's the way. And like you said, you're absolutely right. It's at the cost of some of the other clubs that are not as strong or as in a comfortable position financially as you are. So in fact, instead of being greedy like that, and then just stepping on them to make a few hundred million extra, although it's a lot of money. But I think on stepping on some of the with a lack of better word, poorer teams to kind of jump in and make more money and kind of create that disparity is not what we want from football. Football's a game for the common man. So we should kind of trust and respect the fans' opinions and the low smaller teams' opinions as well. So I'm not surprised that there's all these kind of pullback now. I believe the likes of Chelsea, Barcelona, Atletico, Man City have already pulled out. There are reports coming in that they are planning to pull out. I will assume that the likes of the others in terms of Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and United also will, I think, pull out. Spurs will probably be there for the money, but it won't matter.
But it's already painted as such a negative picture, though. Like everyone wants them to pull up, but their image now will be completely different in a lot of fans' eyes. How do you look at that? Like, will you see some fans changing teams now, or how will they look at these teams? Because yes, if they pull out, it's a very good thing, but at the same time, they've done this, they signed this, and they will also have their ramifications for I think they've signed some legal thing as well with the Super League, so they'll have to face those challenges as well if they do pull out eventually. So how do you see that backlash as well?
I honestly think that might not be such a bad thing, only because I think that I'm just going to take an example of Arsenal because I'm an Arsenal fan. So I'm going to take an example of Arsenal. I don't think that the players and the managers was involved in the decision. It's personal opinion. I feel like they were not involved. So I think that as long as the players and the managers not involved, I think almost every Arsenal fan already wants Stan Kroenke out. I don't think that there's any fan.
The same thing with
Yeah.
United there, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So I think that the hate for the owners will only increase, but I don't think it'll affect that them leaving the club per se, because the players and the manager are trying their best to whatever extent that they can. Obviously United is doing a little bit better than Arsenal, but in terms of changing teams and all, I think that the hatred for the owners will just increase multifolds, and rightly so. The likes of Stan Kroenke, the likes of the Glazers, the likes of John Henry at Liverpool also is known now for his money making mindset. So these guys need to. I mean, how much money are you going to take with you in the grave, man? Come on, like take it a little easy. Just think of the common man also every once in a while.
Well, I think for Chelsea and City is a bit awkward because the owners turned around their clubs. Like they weren't as strong as they are right now, and the owners did that. So for them, it's a bit difficult to go against the owners, and you kind of expected it from them because they do look at profiting revenues. But I think these clubs you talked about who have a rich footballing history, for them it's a bit more difficult, and fans will boycott, I feel. One of my friends, he commented today as well, Amudi, he said yo, but he told me yesterday that he wants to see football like this, top European teams competing with each other day in day out. He doesn't want to see like United versus Brighton. He wants to see United, Madrid, Liverpool, Barcelona. Your thoughts on that? Do you think it can be very repetitive and boring, or do you actually feel these teams playing against each other will actually create some exciting football if it does happen?
See, there's two ways of looking at it. Definitely, there are a certain section of fans like your friend who's commented over there that who are looking for that kind of competitive football day in day out. My only thing is that the fun of the Champions League and the excitement.
What are you playing for?
Yeah, the excitement of the Champions League or something like that is. The excitement of waiting the 2 weeks between the games of the first leg, the second leg, and stuff like that, and the excitement of knowing which team you're going to pick and stuff like that. Sometimes you get sometimes you get the group of death and stuff like that. I think that excitement will be missed. I can see maybe in the future. I'm expecting the Europa Super League to go nowhere. I think that the decision is going to be delayed. I don't think that any of these managers, any of these, like you said, there's already some legalities behind it and stuff like that. So I don't think that this is going away. I think it's going to be delayed by a bit, and there's going to be a little a more I think humble approach to kind of try to incorporate it with the backing of the Premier League, with the backing of UEFA. I'm trying.
Do you think the Premier League is against it because it takes the top four out of contention and the relegation battle as well? Because they didn't actually say that they're going to pull out of the Premier League. The problem, the tournament which was going to get directly affected was the Champions League, UEFA.
Yeah.
So do you think it's more of a direct problem with the UEFA and the Premier League? I mean, for Premier League, it's more, do you think, the top four and the relegation battle? Because it's not directly impacting them in that sense.
Yes, I agree, and I think that there was some discussion of them probably playing the weekend games in the Super League and the midweek games with the Premier League. For them also the TV rights and everything that they get on the weekends, it's a lot higher money. So if they have to go down to the weekdays, that might not go down very well with them and stuff like that. So there are ramifications behind it. But my only thing is like I'm trying to be a little bit of a devil's advocate over here, right? I completely condemn the Super League, so I don't have anything for it or anything. But I'm just trying to look at
Why
what the
not?
points.
Arsenal can finally qualify every year for Europe, man. Why not? You can play. You've been trying
I
to play the Champions League. Now you
I
have
I
automatic qualification.
I think in the next year or so we'll be good enough to qualify by ourselves without having to be uh, giving this kind of a beggars situation or anything. But and honestly, I'll be very honest with you. If we play the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and Atletico City every week, if we have to play them, we'll probably lose more than we'll win at the way we are right now. So,
Yeah.
but
Also,
I
it makes it unfair. Yeah, sorry. You continue your point, and I'll.
just my only point about it is just looking at the negative impact of this, right? I don't think the likes of the UEFA, the UEFA board or the Premier League board, they don't care about the fans. They also care about money. They also care about TV rights. They
Exactly.
also, so they are in it for the business. So I don't understand why they're so mad at someone else doing something bigger than them or something like that. Honestly, the fact that UEFA fair play rules in 2006, since 2006, Arsenal's being were told that the financial fair play is going to come through and everything. Since then, the like of City and Chelsea have just been spending buttloads of money, and when City were caught on violating these rules, they went to the court and they were given like a 10 million ban or something, $10 million a fine or something. That's it. There was no financial fair play or anything. So the money does talk. I'm not surprised. It's all about the money. So if the Super League was in collaboration with UEFA, I don't think UEFA would have reacted like that. It's just the fact that the UEFA will be upset because Champions League and Europa League is directly affected, and most likely these teams will probably not play, or even if they play, will not give it so much importance, obviously.
Yeah.
So I
No, I
think
mean we love the Champions League format, the Europa League format, but the fact that it's directly competing with them, that's why they're really stressed about it more than any other league because it's directly coming in their schedule.
right. I agree 100%. And the thing is, if UEFA was a for the people kind of board, I would have been a lot more sad. But I think that UEFA also is in it for the money, and they're just upset that they're going to lose a lot of money, and it's fair. I understand why they're upset. It's completely understandable. But I'm not feeling bad for the UEFA as a board or anything. I feel bad for the fans because this is not the way it should be done. The
Yeah.
competitive edge in the game completely
Yeah,
disappears.
there's two things to it. One is like it's such a big change. Any human being can't adapt to such big change so quickly. But also on top of that, it takes out a lot of factors like competitiveness. It affects the grassroots levels. It affects the other 14 teams in each league. So the cost for them is big thing. But I just wanted to ask you. But now, do you think this can actually be stopped with the amount of money involved? You said they'll probably delay it. They'll probably do something with it. But now that they actually signed it, yes, of course, teams are withdrawing, but then, like we said, there might be legal ramification for that. They also have to face the Super League now. The clubs who signed it, they'll also have to probably go through some legal stuff, legal battles. But how do you stop this? How would you stop it with so much money involved?
I don't think it's going to get stopped. I don't think that there will. I don't think that the Europa Super League will be completely slashed. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like I said before as
You
well.
think so?
Yeah, I think that is going to come in. I think it's going to be put in practice. It's just a matter of when rather than if. I think that of course, because of the backlash right now, and because of now teams starting to worry. Obviously, if a team is, I'm told that Chelsea's lease for the Stamford Bridge Stadium was apparently due, and that's just a formality. But suddenly
Also,
the
Spurs going to new stadium,
yeah.
that's like a big cost for them, and I think the Super League is really helping them in that way.
Right. No, I'm just saying. I believe I could be wrong over here, and don't quote me on this, but I think that apparently Chelsea's lease for the stadium that they own, the Stamford Bridge, apparently
Yeah.
is owned by has some fans who kind of own that place as well, I believe.
Oh,
So they
okay.
lease it out to the Chelsea team. So suddenly those guys were apparently going to be in a meeting on Thursday and talking about terminating the contract for their lease and stuff like that. So I'm sure Chelsea's gotten scared and walked away on those bases. And like I said, don't quote me on this, but I read something about this on the headlines, and I have to do a little bit more research on that. But that's what I've been hearing in a couple of places. So maybe there's something to do with that for them being one of the first teams to pull out as well. So I'm not surprised by the backlash they're getting. And like I said, I think that I think the Super League will go on. It's just I think that they will, instead of making it an official announcement like they did a couple of days back, they probably start the bodies will probably start to start to collaborate with the Premier League, start to collaborate with the UEFA. I think that's the best. That would have been the better way to go as well initially. So I think that they'll start to collaborate and they'll try to find a middle ground which works for all three leagues, and that's what they're going to go ahead and end up doing, I think.
Yeah, violation. Seeing the fans are protesting, and it will work. Like just a word on the fans. Right now because of COVID, they're not in the stadium. Football is a big part. Fans are a big part of football. Without them, you see the atmosphere in the stadiums is it's dead. Without that crowd, even with the crowd noise and stuff, you don't get the same atmosphere there. Instead of trying to cater that, these clubs going and signing this, it must have really hurt the fans in that sense. I understand that everyone has to look at their pockets, and COVID has impacted everybody. But surely, keeping fans a priority first, then moving on to things like this would have been better.
I agree 100%. Like I said, I understand the financial aspect of it, but just the way that they went about doing business on this one was just.
And COVID probably pushed it, right? Without COVID, they probably wouldn't have gone this quickly.
I agree 100%. I mean, you understand, like these owners are losing millions of dollars on a weekly basis. They still have to pay the players, they have to pay the coaches, they have to pay all of everyone. But the money that they were getting in has stemmed to a significant level, but the money that's going out is still pretty high. So it's unfortunate. I understand where the owners are coming from. I understand that they're probably not making the truckloads of money that they were. But it's a pandemic. It's a global pandemic. Everyone is affected, right? I mean, it's unfortunate circumstances for the past year, a little over a year now. But everyone is affected by it. So it's not like, I mean, like the likes of people who've lost their jobs and stuff like that. And also a lot of these clubs have cut down their staff. They let a lot of people go and stuff like that as well. So people have been affected by it. But instead of making a truckload of money or making a carload of money, you're still making decent amount of money, right? So the way it was brought on to was unfortunate, and I really hope that this extreme level of greed it never succeeds. I hope that this doesn't succeed in the way they wanted it. I still think, like I said, the Super League will probably go on, but I really hope that there's more work done behind the scenes and more collaborations and more happy the way it comes out is more appreciated and accepted by the mass people that are over there, that are the most important aspect of the game as well.
Yeah, and Violation, see another question. Would you rather have European Super League or UEFA Champions League?
Like I said, I mean, it's hard. I'd want to.
For us, it's the Europa League.
True. So for me, it's hard because like I said, I like a friend as well. I'd love to see the likes of the top clubs play week in, week out. But the excitement of making top four, or the excitement of making in the Champions League and then the group of death and stuff like that, there's a different level of excitement. And most importantly, the tune that the Champions League has, will they be able to ever recreate that tune? It's almost impossible. So things like that. I was messing around, but I think that it's going to be hard to kind of compare, because there is still a let's say with due respect, a smaller team like let's say a Zenit Petersburg or something. These teams still make the Champions League.
Ajax makes the semifinals.
Exactly.
Porto won the finals. There's a lot of
smaller
upsets.
teams.
It's part
Exactly.
of the game.
And that's the fun of it, right? If you have the same 12 to 15 teams, or they're saying about apparently 20 now. So if you have the same 20 teams playing every year, it's going to be obviously it's going to be very different. But at the same time, I think there'll be more. I guess we'll get accustomed to the different kind of challenges that come on over there, I think.
Yeah, and at this stage, why are you watching the Premier League right now? Because the top four race is still there. There's something to look forward to in the run-in of the Premier League. Otherwise, with this Super League, there's nothing to look forward to, because it's just the title, and that's it. Relegation as well. That's it. Otherwise, there's nothing else to look forward to. But lastly, just last few questions. The players, what can they do? Because they're a big part of football. Of course, we've spoken about the fans. The players, fans are protesting. They're doing their best. What can the players do? What is in their control? Because they're under contract as well. These owners pay these players salaries. They'll probably be against it. But how do they protest? How do they not? How do they keep it balanced, but at the same time keep the fans happy as well? How will the players react?
I think it's the hardest for the players and the managers, I think, because they are the
Yeah.
one that have kind of been put under the bus, thrown under the bus with this, right? Like the likes of Klopp and Pep, who've already made these statements, because they're the ones who are obviously going to be questioned significantly in these press conferences and stuff. Luckily for the players, they don't come out, but I think the likes of James Milner has come out very clearly and openly said that he doesn't like it. The likes of Henderson apparently is trying to create a meeting with all the other club captains and trying to say that these guys were not involved in the decision making. And if you're gonna pull out players from their national duties and stuff like that, I don't think 90% of the players will not be happy with that. I think many players take a lot of pride in playing for their national team. Like for one, I know like Granit Xhaka is a very
You
very
had to
big
mention
yeah.
Arsenal
No,
player.
because that's the one that I know. I mean, if you know United player, you should mention it. But I know that how happy he is, or how much pride he takes in the fact that he plays for his country. So one of those players is, as an example, I'm saying obviously is Granit Xhaka. So he will not be happy with the fact that he will have to withdraw from playing for his national team ever. That's not something that's going to go down well with him. I think he's going to make that protest. It's unfortunate that they it's the trickiest for them, for them, because they are under a contract with the club, and they have to abide by the club rules, obviously, and the club has to pushes them to play. They don't really have too much of a choice. But we saw the game against Leeds yesterday. It was a flat game. It was just it
Very
ended up
fair.
being yeah, it ended up being a 1-1 draw. I'm being told right now that the Chelsea bus has been delayed by 15 minutes of the game that they were
No
supposed to
way.
play by Brighton. It's supposed to start at 2, apparently starting 15 minutes delayed now. So actually, yeah, my boss just pinged me about it. So I kind of got a message just now
I
about it
like
as
the
well. So
inside information that you're getting. Yeah,
so
that's
yeah.
big news. But you're right. Also, the T-shirts they wore yesterday, Leeds. Your thoughts on that? Klopp wasn't happy with it, but earn your Champions League. It was a good message.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very good message. I think that the smaller teams have the right to make this kind of protest. They are not in it, so they want to make as loud protests as they possibly can. And it's only fair. The Twitter game and the Instagram game also is very good. I saw someone like a Spartak Moscow say, if you want to support another team, we're always here for you. So there's a lot of things going on. I just got a message right now. Apparently, there's reports that Manchester United. Chairman Ed Woodward is apparently resigning. There's a lot. These are claims.
Resigning.
These are
Yeah.
claims. I don't know how true this is, but I just got a message about that from my boss. So very interesting times in football right now. So I mean, if Ed Woodward retires, I think. Or resigns, I think that's good news for United, honestly. So it's not too much wrong over there. But these are very very big calls.
He's probably he's resigning in protest.
We don't know about that, honestly.
But
I don't know.
with Mourinho, the dude with the Carling Cup, Carabao Cup final coming, he's brought in to win a trophy. Okay, I understand the results have been horrible in the last few weeks. They've been terrible. I completely understand everything, but he's brought in to win a trophy. He's taken you to the finals. With just 3 4 days, do you think he's going to get sacked based on performance, or he's sacked because he's against the Super League? What do you think? And tell me honestly.
I think he's sacked because of the Super League.
I
There's
agree with you.
no doubt about that. Honestly, there's absolutely no way. There were reports in the morning that apparently he decided to not take training that Monday morning because he didn't want. He was against the Super League, and that was a good chance for them to get rid of Mourinho. I'm pretty sure they wanted to get rid of him. Of course, there was these issues with his playing, and the team was looking very very flat, and the team was looking not obviously giving very good performances. I think the timing of it very susceptible. As much as I hate Spurs, I think that this is not the way to do it. I think that letting him go 4 5 days. I hate Mourinho. I hate Spurs, but that's not the way you do things. I mean, and putting a 29-year-old in charge, it's a
I
big
covered
deal.
it up by saying that it's because of losses, but me and you both know he's brought in to win this Carabao Cup. That's why he's brought in.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no denying that he's. And honestly, if you're going to put a 29-year-old against a Pep Guardiola, it's going to be difficult. I honestly think, as much as I hate Mourinho, at least he has a trick in the bag, maybe to
Yeah, it's just
to
his
get a.
presence there, man. It's his presence there, and he's won trophies, so you can pull something off one game. Why count him out? But yeah, I
So
agree with you. It's surprising because Klopp has spoken against it, Pep has as well. Nothing happened with them, but I guess Levy's taking a different approach. Maybe he wants. We haven't heard Spurs putting out some. Yeah, it's all about the cash money. I don't know, man. It's really surprising. But yeah, final thoughts. Where do you've already said that this will probably be delayed, but it's not over yet. There's going to be a lot of repercussions. Do you see the Champions League and Europa League continuing this season? Would you see the quarterfinals, or will it be slightly delayed as well? Because right now it looks like football is going on, but right now it just looks like the world has stopped and everyone is talking about this, thinking about this, and trying to stop this, basically.
Honestly, I think whatever needs to be done will happen in the next 2 or 3 days. I think their decisions will be made in the next 2 or 3 days. We are
By
in two.
Friday, I think even UEFA will probably take a decision on the current Champions League, Europa League situation.
Exactly. So I think we'll know a lot more in the next 2 or 3 days, and we'll kind of get some more clarity over there. I don't think anything's going to stop. I'm very honest with you. I don't think anything will stop. The next 2 or 3 days, there's absolutely no football. I think if I'm not wrong, there's no games. Well, there are games. Sorry, this is midweek
Premier
games.
League, yeah.
Premier League games are still there, but there's no games until next week. So there's enough time for them to make decisions, and I think that there's enough time for these big clubs also to kind of take a step back and maybe not. I don't think everyone's going to pull out. I think if anyone's pulling out or whatever, that's good on them. But if no one's pulling out, just kind of temporarily suspended is probably the way to go for now. And they will probably be a lot of discussions and a lot of collaborations before anything moves forward, I think.
But just on this, like they're pulling out already. There's a couple of teams, which is really good. Like, I'm not saying in a negative way, but didn't they see this backlash happening? Like this was going to happen. So suddenly to pull out like that, isn't it kind of strange? Like you just signed it 2 days ago. Each club put a statement saying that, listen, we're joining the Super League. This is the fixture. I mean, this is the rules, the regulations. This is how much we're gonna get. Whatever, you've signed everything, and now you're saying that we're gonna pull out just because of backlash, right? That's it. There's nothing else. And there have been no legal ramifications from the Premier League yet or from the Champions League. So is there some under the table stuff that we're not aware of? Did the Premier League unofficially tell them, listen, we're going to kick you out? Is there something like that? Because to suddenly pull out like that, isn't it a bit dodgy as well?
I think that it's honestly, I think that it's so much going on that we don't really know which reports to believe, which not to believe. So there's probably some decisions behind. I mean, they probably didn't expect the backlash to be at this level, and there's probably was an exit clause that they are making the most of. I'm pretty sure that the exit clauses will be there in some of these kind of contracts. So maybe that they're pulling that through. But it's just so difficult to make a decision, make a judgment call of maybe they didn't expect the backlash to be so terrible, where every single person except for the 12 owners are the people who are happy about this. I think 12 people in the world, and the remaining 2 billion people who follow football are not happy about it. So I'm not surprised by the backlash, but maybe the extent of the backlash was not what some of the teams were expecting, I guess. So
Don, from various sources, especially Samuel Luckhurst, he's a United correspondent, Manchester United correspondent. He works with the club closely. He said that Woodward has resigned, but he'll stay in his role until end of 2021, but he's officially resigned.
Like I said, there's reports coming through. This is huge news. I mean, again, I don't know if this was part of the deal that was being done. I'm sure he was part of the deal that was being done, but is it in direct relations to him resigning now on the basis of this?
Of course, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah.
But also, one thing as well. Sorry to cut you off, but to your point, you know what Gary Neville said yesterday. I mean, he lost it completely, and rightly so. Like he had a completely aggressive approach to it. But he said something very interesting. He said that, listen, the thing which scared me the most is I saw Gil. I forgot not Gil. What's his name? The owner of Manchester United.
The Glazers.
Something Glazer. The guy's name, Gil Glazer. I don't know what it was, but basically saw his signature or her signature, and after that he really got scared because he never sees their signature on papers. Like they don't really get involved in things. When they get their signature on it, that means it's going to go through. So that's why he was like, he said the next day he did get scared, and he's like, this is real. Before that, he said I ranted and everything, but at the back of my mind, I always thought, whatever, this is not going to go through. We're going to backlash and we're going to protest and everything is not going to go through. But when he saw that signature, he's like, okay, this might go through. So because of the amount of money involved, this is still a real thing and it's still a possibility.
Like I said, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. It's crazy how many big people are involved. So I don't think that they're going to let it go away. I'm being told Agnelli is now resigning from Juventus as well.
Yes, yeah, that's
Their
the
chairman
breaking
as
news.
well.
I just
So
read that. Yeah.
yeah, so man, this is going absolutely
Down
crazy.
with the
So
latest live reporting. I love it, man. I love it. As soon
so
as we came live, it's good to that we're breaking this news live
yeah.
on Chasing Green Arrow.
Yeah, so I think yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, but I still think that this will go through. I think it's just a matter of when and not if it will still go through. It's 25 to 30 times more exciting than deadline day football, man. This is unreal.
Yeah.
and
Unbelievable
and
drama.
deadline day football is pretty exciting as well. So this is significantly bigger than that. So yeah, I think it's quite incredible how things how things have gotten in the past couple of days, and looking forward to how this completely and totally unfolds completely. And I still think it's going to go through. It's just a matter of when, not if.
It's going to go through, but it's a matter of when, not if. Just last few comments, the violations you were saying, UEFA and FIFA like probably caused this with the way they've run football. It's unfair. He agrees with you that they don't play international football. And yeah, I think he's saying Barca, Atletico, Chelsea, Man City, Milan, Inter, they'll all pull out because of angry fans. We don't know, man. I mean, fans are angry everywhere, but when there's so much money involved, we don't know how much. Of course, fans do have a lot of power, but at the same time, you're putting that against so much money as well. So, like
I
you
think
said,
yeah. I think
right now,
you
yeah.
mentioned 6 teams. That's half your founding members. It's going to be harder now for them to make that Super League. It's not fun if the likes of Barca, if the likes of City, the likes of Atletico, Inter Milan. These guys are also an important part of the team. If some of these big teams are there, it's not going to be fun to have the Super League anymore. So there's going to be a lot of discussions. There's going to be a lot of behind the doors for this stuff. I still think it will go through. My gut feeling still says it will go through, because Champions League came 30 years back in similar fashion, right? It came out of creating a league for the top of the top. Now it's in a
Yeah.
very different. It's somewhat different because they want only it to be restricted to let's say about 12 to 20 teams here. Before that, it was
Like you said,
six
I
to
think they
four.
should have done it. If they want to do it, they should have done it a bit more smartly, make it actually more competitive, and then you can actually rival and then say, like if you look at other sports around the world, like cricket has also these kind of leagues. Kerry Packer did this like 30 years ago, but he kept it competitive. So it was still a rebel league, but he kept it a competitive league. And that's the thing over here. First of all, so many people are losing. You're doing it at the cost of others, but also on top of that, it's not competitive enough. I think you don't have anything going with you. So make it a bit different, more spicier, I feel.
Finally, but just before we head out, the devil's advocate over here again, right?
You have a question for you.
For me personally, okay, yeah, I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
answer it. Just
yeah,
before I
yeah.
lose my chain of thought, though,
Yeah,
the devil's advocate over here as well. If you look at different leagues in cricket, like for example IPL or the NBA,
yeah.
there are a set number of teams, but still there's a good amount of competition over there. So that is still fun, Like if you just talk about the IPL, the same 8 teams have been playing for the past 14 years, and it's always still been fun.
But also in cricket, you have that limited. In football, you have so many other teams, so maybe
Correct.
that's why you need to
Absolutely.
involve more people, right? I think with
Absolutely.
cricket, you can still get away with 8 teams in one league.
Right.
But yeah, the question is, what do you think about Tottenham and Arsenal in the ESL? I think it's great for them, to be very honest with you. They can confirm European
As
football year in and year out. They don't need to worry about Champions League, Europa League, top four. They can cruise 15th, 16th in the league and just come and play some nice European football.
with Arsenal, there's a lot of heritage. Let's be real over here, okay? Whoever was asking that question, let's be very real over here. There is history. Yeah, there is good. We're the only team in the history to go 20 years in a row without losing a Champions League spot. So there is some good about the Arsenal as well. With Spurs, I mean, come on, like they haven't won shit, so I don't understand why they're part of the team. But that's also my bias talking. But yeah, of
Yeah.
course, based on current standings, yes, Spurs and Arsenal don't deserve that. But I think some of the history has to go with it, and
And that actually, you know what happens? Sorry to cut you off, but it's just based on that. You know what happens? Arsenal right now, Tottenham, even United the previous years, right? They were below the likes of Leicester, West Ham this year. These teams, especially Arsenal and Tottenham,
for
right now
sure,
they're below
100%,
Leicester and West Ham, right?
absolutely, yeah.
But with this ESL league, not only do they get guaranteed European football over these teams, they also will get the right over players because of the amount of money which is this league is bringing in, the revenue that they're getting. So it becomes a very unfair advantage. I know it's already there's unfair the financial fair play stuff, Man City can spend more than other teams like West Ham, but still, it's still possible. But with this league, it becomes almost impossible because the amount of money that they're earning is next level.
Absolutely, I completely agree. The disparity in anywhere in the world, disparity becomes a big problem. Disparity in football will become a big problem. You see disparity amongst people, right? If you go and see in India, there's only 15-20% of the people that can actually afford good meals and food and shelter and stuff like that. 80% of people are struggling over there. So you see that kind of disparity over there as well. And that is the problem. There is never going to be that level of equalness ever if the disparity increases the way it is increasing with this ESL, and that's the biggest problem. I completely agree. I think there is no way that this should be allowed to go on without any kind of competitive nature behind it. At least if you want to completely scrap the Champions League and just go a European League, maybe give you a few extra advantages to make it fair enough. But I think that there has to be some kind of competitive nature behind it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Some great thoughts there. Basically, the moral of the story is like, it shouldn't go on like this, but at the same time, there's so much money involved. Abrar, our co-host, is saying that it will probably get delayed, but they might still go with it. There's a news saying that Tottenham have pulled out as well now. So it looks like a lot of teams are withdrawing. Only time will tell. We'll come back to this topic again, Donna, but I think we had a lot of emotions flowing. We haven't talked about it on air for a long time. It's been a couple of days, so it's good to talk about this. I'm sure we're going to we already got updates in the last 20-30 minutes that we've been live. We'll get more updates as the night finishes, and we'll come back and discuss. But thank you so much. You made some excellent points over there, and it was a pleasure to talk to you, man, today.
As always, man. Take care.
Take care.